Hey, my handsome ladies and gentlemen, this is Shmeaty. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of the biggest buffs in the new season, both indirectly and directly. Indirectly because Pokemon like Skarmory have been pushed out of the meta, allowing something like JUMPLUFF to be good, and specifically Shadow JUMPLUFF, running the moveset of Fairy Wind, Aerial Ace, and Energy Ball. This Pokemon has climbed substantially in usage and viability recently after the Season 20 changes. A word to the wise, however, there has been a meta trend of Alolan Sandslash starting to pop up a lot more. But we've got some spice in game number 1. It's going to be JUMPLUFF leading into an XL level 50 Frillish. Oh my goodness, the sauce. We're going to be firing off an Aerial Ace onto the Frillish and grabbing the shield. We did build up to a potential Energy Ball there, so the Frillish is going to respect it. I thought this may have been a Mimi team at the start, but Frillish is on Ice Beam, which would have absolutely rocked our JUMPLUFF's world, so I'm glad that we shielded that. Energy Ball lands onto the Frillish, and all 296 of those XL candies were wasted because it gets one-shot by the Energy Ball. Energy Ball number 2 gonna land onto the Qwilfish if they do not shield, and their defense gets dropped, forcing them to switch out. Now, they're going to bring in their Gastrodon, and baiting this out is very nice because although I don't have a particularly bad matchup waiting for it in the back, I do have JUMPLUFF that is still very healthy and able to deal with this Pokemon. So we're going to bring in Dugong into the Gastrodon, also not a terribly bad matchup for us. At this point, I have a JUMPLUFF awaiting this Gastrodon, so there's no point in me shielding there. I'm going to fire off this drill run, looking for the kill shot on the Gastrodon and see how badly they want to preserve it. Evidently not badly enough because Gastrodon just gets absolutely blasted there and goes down. They're going to put all their faith in the Qwilfish. Newly buffed Qwilfish is a Pokemon I will be looking at later on in the season when I am able to obtain one, that is. They're going to fire off Aqua Tail number 2 onto the Feraligatr. This Pokemon is devastatingly spammy, and I'm on Crunch again! What is this? I even made the graphic to say Ice Beam. If you run this team, please have Ice Beam. I'm so sorry, but Crunch is finally paying off because it does massive damage to the Qwilfish, and we win game 1. GG's. What an amazing lead in the next game. JUMPLUFF leading into the Victreebel, non-Shadow Victreebel on Magical Leaf. And Victreebel is going to have a hard time into JUMPLUFF as we outpace. Not the best timing ever, but the Aerial Ace is fired before they fire off their Sludge Bomb, and now they have a chance to throw energy at my Dugong. But that's perfectly fine. I'd rather take this energy here than anywhere else, and it turns out this player is absolutely addicted to the Season 19 meta. Cannot stop with the Victreebel Lantern Core, I suppose. Lantern is building up to a potential Surf here, and this will easily KO us from the range that we're at. Do I want to get rid of this Lantern? Evidently not enough. I do have the JUMPLUFF though, and they will need to send a Thunderbolt to do any meaningful damage. So I'm going to build up to the Energy Ball. Energy Ball will KO the Lantern. They let it go. Lantern, evidently not that important for this guy. Now, it's Mandibuzz in the back, and unfortunately, I throw on very poor timing, allowing a full Snarl to go through. I don't know if I was lagging there or not, and that influenced that happening, but nevertheless, not the best play by me. They're going to fire off a move. It's the Aerial Ace. We were able to catch it onto our Feraligatr. In comes the Victreebel, only to get farmed down, and at that point, I would be throwing the game. I'd be top lefting. Why is my Feraligatr on Crunch once again? I swear, dude, I changed it. I did not look back. My Feraligatr right now, if I'm going to make a video right now, it has Ice Beam. I promise. I don't know what this is. We're going to bait with the Hydro Cannon, and now Mandibuzz is going to shield up 2 Hydro Cannons. But if you didn't know, fun fact about JUMPLUFF, it can win the 2-shield scenario, Shadow JUMPLUFF, versus Mandibuzz. And now Mandibuzz is down 2 shields, so there is no hope left for this trainer. They are coping, staying in this game, and they're going to top left. GG's. In the next game, it's going to be JUMPLUFF leading into a Feraligatr. What a very dangerous lead this is. Now, I do have the potential of always catching on 7. I'm actually going for an Aerial Ace bait on CMP. Very much disagree with this play. Would not do this again. I would probably just try to catch on my Dugong moving forward. They Hydro Cannon, I call it, and they shield an Aerial Ace bait. They are going to be at another move here. Am I going to commit a shield? A Hydro Cannon won't quite do it. I'm going to shield up to preserve some HP, and it's a Mandibuzz. So I'm able to get this Aerial Ace off, and now in should come the Dugong, but I may build up just a little bit more energy. One shy of the Aerial Ace there, and the Mandibuzz is going to fire off a move. But we're okay with tanking this Dark Pulse, as it's not going to do a whole lot of damage onto the very bulky Dugong. And now we're reaching for that Icy Wind on the CMP tie, adding insult to injury to this Mandibuzz. Are they going to shield up the Icy Wind is the question. They are not, putting them in perfect Ice Shard downrange. Now, Dark Pulse lands, but does significantly less damage than last time. Back in comes the Feraligatr, and I'm throwing this Drill Run immediately so as to not be outpaced and have to deal with taking a Hydro. In comes my Jumpluff. Game stutters a bit while I try to bring it in for the Aerial Ace combo play, and that will pick up the KO. In the back, they have a Clodsire, and Clodsire, I'm going for the CMP tie, and I lose CMP. This was a learning moment for me, and I shield the Jumpluff. Oh man, I don't really think, I completely disagree with that play now, because Gator probably would have just cleaned up this end game if I hadn't shielded that. But nevertheless, Aerial Ace is going to get the Clodsire a little bit lower. We're going to bring in the Dugong to absorb any energy that this Clodsire throws. It's going to be the Stone Edge, of course it is. And now we're in a prime position to bring in our Gator, but we will need 2 moves, and they do have a catch available to them. We are going to have to watch for the catch, building up to 5. The Hydro Cannon is thrown at the Mandibuzz. I was not watching for the catch. I do get a single Shadow Claw down there, which is pretty nice, and I should be able to live a singular Earthquake. It all comes down to if I can outpace or farm down. This is getting very dangerous here. Oh my goodness, we're at the Hydro Cannon, but we are not at the back-to-back, and Poison Sting is now buffed. Are we going to be able to make this happen? Oh no, devastation, we lose the game, GG's. Incredibly scuffed start to the next game, but in case you didn't catch it, because I started the recording very late there, it was a Shadow Machamp lead into our Jumpluff, and they did immediately safe switch into the Dunsparce. Now, I am making another play I don't necessarily agree with, staying in far too long with my Jumpluff and firing off an Energy Ball. Does grab a shield from the Dunsparce, but these Rock Slides, the Rock and Ground coverage from Dunsparce is no joke. It is very potent, and now Icy Wind onto the Dunsparce is going to land. They're going to be able to land another move here, but now that they're debuffed, this is not going to KO. So we're going to let that Rock Slide through, roll out his buff, but not quite buffed enough, and we are going to have to give up a shield here if we want to maintain switch advantage or grab both shields from the Dunsparce. It all comes down to this. Are they going to elect to shield up this Icy Wind? They are not. They are going to instant pivot into their Machamp, and I'm going to meet that with my Jumpluff. Jumpluff has some energy stored, however, and should be able to outpace before the Machamp gets to 2 moves, or even throws 1, apparently. Aerial Ace gonna KO the Machamp. That's massive damage. Machamp not built very well, but not built for taking a Shadow Aerial Ace from a Jumpluff, evidently. It's a Waterfall Empoleon in the back. Trainer, you're just being dramatic at this point. I know Steel Wing got nerfed, but you can get the same energy generation from Metal Claw. It's just not as potent fast move pressure. In comes the Gator. They top left. GG's. I guess Jumpluff was just the lead to be in the very beginning of the season, as it's going to be a Greninja in the next match on the lead, and I can confidently no-shield this. It's only going to be an Aerial Ace? What is that? Okay, this trainer evidently not running the recommended moveset of Night Slash plus Aerial Ace, foregoing the same type attack moves as well, but hey. Nevertheless, in comes a Greedent, but Greedent, not a really big fan of Jumpluff, all things considered. Jumpluff can stay in a little bit there, tank a Body Slam, and now we're going to pivot out into our Dugong, where this matchup is inevitably just going to end in a win. Even if I was to tank a Trailblaze here, it's perfectly fine. They're going to fire off a move on alignment, giving me a free Ice Shard, and that's massive energy gains for me. 10 free energy, I will take that any day of the week. They fire off the Trailblaze, does do a solid amount of damage, but that's okay by me. Gonna go for the undercharge, still charged just too much, and down goes the Greedent. They're going to bring back in the Aerial Ace Greninja. I'm pretty sure most of you watching didn't even realize Greninja got Aerial Ace. They also gave it to Alolan Sandslash a couple seasons ago. I don't know what the play there was. They're going to fire off the Hydro Cannon, so they're forgoing Night Slash. I guess this trainer, not a big fan of the boost. They're going to bring in a Typhlosion. I'm very low health here. I am going to live that Incinerate, however. Grabbing the shield there should mean game over for the Typhlosion, as I can double shield this Feraligatr, and this should be game over, as I'm going to be able to reach double Hydro well before they're able to reach triple Thunder Punch. They will need 3 Thunder Punches, 2 for my shields, and 1 to pick up the knockout. I can just shield this one up, throw 2 more Shadow Claws, and Incinerate. Takes so long to start up that it's a guaranteed KO with this Hydro Cannon. Once I see that Typhlosion lean in for that Incinerate, the game is now over. In comes the Greninja. I bring in my Jumpluff for absolutely no reason. Very risky play, but it pays off. GG's. In the next game, it's going to be Jumpluff leading into a Gastrodon. This really is the best lead ever, at least early season, when people were not running the stupid A-Slash. It's going to be a Mandibuzz. I can take this Aerial Ace no problem. I don't need that much health to deal with the Gastro, so I'm going to bank a truly devastating amount of energy and bring in the Dugong for a guaranteed winning matchup. Doesn't matter how much of an energy lead they have, especially when they're not running Dark Pulse and instead opting to Foul Play. Foul Play here does do some damage onto the Dugong, but look at how much energy we have. We can pick up a KO whenever we want with this Icy Wind, but we're going to go for the Undercharge, and we're looking for that farm down. In comes the Gastrodon, but aggressively pivoting in a Gastrodon, not the play you want to be making in Season 20, as in comes its worst nightmare in the Jumpluff. And now they're going to be able to fire off a move here, but this is at worst a debuffed Body Slam. An Earth Power here would do triple resisted damage, so they will never throw that. I'm going to fire off the Energy Ball, hoping for a little bit of an undercharge there still. Just too much. Getting used to these new damage calculations is going to be a little bit harder than I anticipated. In comes a Drifblim in the back, and Drifblim is going to have to deal with endless Aerial Aces from the Shadow Jumpluff. Aerial Ace number 2 going to connect onto the Drifblim. Am I going to get Astonished down here? Yes, I am. Not the best situation to be a part of for me. Reaching for that Icy Wind, and realistically, just looking to make this Drifblim empty out the tank here. Fire off some energy onto the Dugong, and I lived. The fact that I lived there is so much worse for them, as they could have permanently debuffed this Gator, and this may have been a potentially different game if they did, but now I lived the Icy Wind, and in comes the Gator for the potential Hydro Cannon KO on the Mandibuzz. But once the Mandibuzz gets KO'd, we have 2 shields and Shadow Claw pressure onto the Drifblim. That'll be a good game. GG's. Truly terrible lead in the next game. It's going to be Jumpluff leading into the Talonflame. You're going to see me throw 1 Fairy Wind and switch into the Dugong to defer the Incinerate. Throwing 1 Fairy Wind there allows me to make sure I never take that Incinerate damage, which is very helpful. I start off with 9 energy head start versus whatever they have in back, and I get to bring in my safe switch for free. I'm going to bring in the Dugong. Dugong does lure out the Ferrothorn, and Ferrothorn, very good response to the Dugong. Dugong not going to be able to KO with 2 moves here regardless of what I throw, so I'm going to fire off the Icy Wind, and they're going to fire off the Thunder. Possibly a misplay by this trainer. In case you were unaware, Power Whip is just better damage per energy and just a better move to go for in neutral situations. For instance, they're both single super effective, so you want to be throwing Power Whip as opposed to Thunder there. Back in comes the Talonflame. Talonflame is going to have to shield up these Aerial Aces. 2 more Fairy Winds, and another Aerial Ace has this Talonflame's name on it, and it has the second shield's name on it as well. In comes the Dugong for the catch of the move, and this is terrible if you're the opposing trainer. It's the Flame Charge, but now in comes a Gator with a shield advantage, and Gator with a shield advantage oftentimes just means that you are going to win. It's going to be the Fly from the Talonflame. Talonflame not able to switch out quite yet. It's going to be their own Gator. They bring in the Ferrothorn, and we have such a massive energy head start that this game should very well be over in a matter of moments here. Hydro Cannon onto their Gator will do about 50%. And down goes the Gator near enough. They're going to need to commit to an Ice Beam to KO the Jumpluff from this range. Aerial Ace onto the Gator. Does pick up the knockout. GG's. If you made it to this point in the video, thanks so much for watching. It really means a lot to me, and for right now, something new, a quick word to the wise. Now, Shadow Hoppip is not currently in Team Go Rocket rotation. However, there was, on the day of me recording this video, September 25th, a Team Go Rocket takeover that was announced for early October. Generally, what happens when this is the case is Niantic does a big update like they did here, and they pay attention to what's going on in the meta. For instance, when they gave Feraligatr access to Shadow Claw, Shadow Totodile was in Rocket Grunts, I believe like a month after that happened, because it was so impactful. So that being said, fingers crossed, I cannot guarantee anything, but we may be able to see some Pokemon like Shadow Hoppip and Shadow Cubone, which are now top of the top meta in the Great League, return to Team Go Rocket battles. So, all that being said, if you found enjoyment in today's video, thank you so much for watching once again. This has been Shmeaty. I hope to see you guys again next time, and have a good rest of your day. Bye.